There we go. Welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch, episode 208.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two
crazy ketos. And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you're new here, please say hi down below.
Here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and every Monday we go live on Keto Beyond the Couch because life exists beyond the couch.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all of our different recipes. We do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon, and that way every single time I am happy to see you, you'll be alerted to it. And I am so happy to see you this morning. I'm happy to see you this morning,
sir. I'm happy to see you. Boink said, let's hope the technical guys will be nice to us today.
Well,
that one right there was a technical error on Joe's part.
That was a user error.
Except for I did turn off the AC and it just came back on.
It's not happening.
What is the name of our AC? I don't even remember.
We don't know.
Home.
Ecobee?
Ecobee. That's what we have.
Do you have one of those, like, smart... We're getting so many smart things in our house, we're not able to use them. They're maybe smarter than us. We may have a Terminator situation on our hands here.
Turn off.
It's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And honestly, I get afraid to touch anything right before we go on a live because I don't know if, like, somehow the air conditioning is, like, attached to our cameras. I don't know.
So, anyway, welcome to Keto Beyond the Couch. If you are new here, Keto Beyond the Couch is all about subscribers. We love to celebrate wins, answer questions and comments from the last week between our Facebook, YouTube, and our Mighty Networks. We do always tell people that please share your stories. Head on over to our Mighty Networks. It's completely free. If you want to support us, you can by doing one of the paid memberships inside of Mighty Networks. That's a great way to support our channel, as well as using all of the links down below. But we're all about community, and I want to start off today's Keto Beyond the Couch to clear the air.
Okay.
So I was pulling comments, and last week we were talking about carnivore, and we have stated over and over and over again that carnivore is not sustainable for us.
Right.
We are not against carnivore. I think carnivore is a great way of eating if it's sustainable for you.
Oh, absolutely.
But if it's not sustainable for you, then it's not the right type of diet, whether or not it's the best form for you or not. There's lots of things that are healthy for us.
Right.
But if I can't do it and I'm going to go off the rails because I can't stick to it, then it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. So we fully support carnivore way of eating.
Absolutely.
We will eat carnivore for stints. And honestly, 95% of our diet is meat. I mean, the other day, we ate just a whole bunch of beef ribs. That's all we ate. Our dinner was like 6 pounds of beef ribs. Then there's another day where we had Parmesan steak with asparagus.
It was delicious. Oh my gosh. And I may have stolen a slice off of Joe's. I admitted it. I admitted it at least.
But yeah, so carnivore is a great way of eating, and we fully support the carnivore way of eating. All we said over and over and over again is it's not sustainable for us, and for many people, it's not sustainable. And if it's not sustainable, then they need to find what is sustainable. The type of eating you're supposed to be doing is what is sustainable for you. So I just want to make that clear. We never have spoken ill about carnivore. We love carnivore. We are friends with a lot of carnivores, including people like Dr. Barry and Dr. Sean Baker. And there's a lot of carnivores out there who they've found a way to make it sustainable. Bronson is another one. But for us, it's not how I choose to eat permanently or how I think I can eat permanently, because I want some vegetables once in a while. And not to sound mean, if you're looking for us to only support carnivores, we may not be the place for you.
Well, you know what has, in my own like effort to reduce stress. And really, the birth of our granddaughter Peyton was a huge catalyst in me deciding, okay, if I am going to show her what I think a woman should be like, then I need to be that woman, right? I can't just point her to it like, hey, try to like not be a people pleaser. I need to start actively taking the time to try to figure out like what are stresses in my life and how am I going to respond to them.
Right.
And one of the things that I have kind of let go of is people pleasing. And one of the ways that I used to really people please was I would chase after misunderstanding. I would really chase after and try to explain, like, I need you to get me. I need you to understand me. In order for me to move forward, I need for you to know my heart and my motivation and to fully understand me. And I've learned that some people just choose to misunderstand you. There are some people that are just gonna choose to be like, I don't get what you're doing. I don't get what you're about. I mean, you may have people, coworkers, family members, friends, doctors in your lives that are like, I don't want you to move forward with any new way of eating or moving until I get it, until I've wrapped my mind around it.
Right.
But you can't live your life that way. That'll talk about being in a stall of your health goals. I can't wait for everybody to get on board before this train leaves the station. You know, when we were at Busch Gardens, we were waiting for like a ride that was like a train to go around, and they had to like cut off letting people on it. And so somebody was getting really mad and they're like, I see there's extra seats left on that train. You need to let us on and just like let us get on this train. And the lady that was having everybody get on said, I'm sorry, but at some point, the train needs to leave the station to stay on time. And there's another train coming, and you can get on that, and we'll try to minimize your wait as much as possible. But, like, we got to go forward. Right. And I think sometimes you just have to go forward. I mean, we could just make a ton of videos based on like, oh my gosh, somebody seems offended. Let's re-go back and
we're not doing it.
Help them figure that out.
We're here to support all ways of eating when it comes to keto, low carb, whether it's keto, ketovore, dirty keto, clean keto, carnivore. We're here about community and education, and that's where we're going to continue to be. So the people who need keto treats, whether they be homemade or packaged, to stay away from the sugar and to stay away from the overly processed food items with all of the grain, then we're going to support them because we all start somewhere. A lot of people who are carnivores started off keto, and we did. Yeah. And we have moved more towards mostly meat, whereas at the beginning, we ate a lot of homemade keto treats, and we ate a lot of vegetables. I mean, we were doing the 6 to 8 cups of vegetables a day. Now, I found that that's not best for me, but for some other person, that may be. Now, the one place I would say we may have been misunderstood is, I will always say this, for people who are carnivores, be careful in some of the carnivore groups. Yes. Because some of them, and some of the keto ones for that matter, can be toxic, because I have seen people go into the groups and say, I'm eating carnivore and I just had garlic on top of my steak, and somebody beating them up going, well, if you're eating garlic, that's not carnivore. But that also exists in keto groups, but not ours, because if we find that stuff going on in our groups, we delete comments and boot people because we don't believe in keto police. We don't believe in carnivore police. But that's the only place we've ever said be careful, because some of the carnivore groups can be toxic.
Don't let anybody else write the title for your story. Mm-hmm. It's your story. Yep. Write the title for it. Don't let somebody else label you. You get that, really a blessing to write the title, to create the soundtrack for it's your movie. It's your life. You know, and I love that. Don't outsource that sort of thing.
Lynette, thank you very much. Says I can help with transportation from Hobby Airport to the hotel and again at the end of the cruise. I sent you messages at Mighty Number.
Yes,
yeah, and somebody else sent me an email too.
Thank you.
We appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
I need to contact Debbie because our flight's at like 2:30. And we might be able to just, instead of taking a shuttle directly from the cruise to the airport, we might be able to just jump on the bus that goes to the other airport. No, I guess not, because we have to go to a different airport.
I like how you're choosing to like work
I'm
that all
choosing
out.
to work it out now.
Travel plans now.
So if anybody else is going in a hobby, maybe we can do a shuttle together to go from the cruise over to the hobby airport.
Yeah.
Let's jump into Keto Beyond the Couch. We are going to start off with our Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. I found this post from Scott. Actually, I believe it was over on our Mighty Networks group.
Love you, man.
It said, don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Instead, focus on making one small change at a time. Over time, those small changes will add up to a big transformation. Don't give up.
That is such a powerful reminder. What is the 1% you gonna try to get better at today? 1%. That's how we transform a life, 1% at a time. You know, I would love to get from like point A to point B by making a really giant jump and getting there. But it is one step at a time. So what is the 1% you're working on this week? That is enough.
Yeah, so, and that's exactly what we were just talking about though, right? So you start off wherever you're comfortable, and every day you're going to get a little better. For a lot of people, they start off eating very dirty keto, right? I don't like the word dirty, but that's what people call it. But
if it fits my macros.
They slowly move things
to take my watch off. It's like every notification.
Yeah, to keep going until they get cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. And that's the whole idea. Now, I meant to say this. If you are new here, the way we do Keto Beyond the Couch is we go through all of our comments and stuff, and then we address the chat towards the end, like the last 10 or 15 minutes. So if you have a question for us, hold off to the end, or you can use the super chat function, which is the little $sign. That does help support the channel. We greatly appreciate that. And it also highlights our screen. B-Dog wants, Jareen wants to know, what does PSMF mean? It means protein sparing modified fast. It is meant for people who are extremely obese. Instead of doing it all out fast, where you just don't eat, you have a couple of days a week, and that's what it's supposed to be, a couple of days a week, not 5 or 6 days a week. But a couple of days a week where you eat a lot of protein, like 100 grams or more of protein, less than like 20 grams of fat, which is very difficult. So you're into like shrimp and chicken breast and tuna fish pretty much. And then, and you eat like less than 600 calories, and you do that a couple of days a week. And the idea behind it is it helps preserve your muscle on those fasting days.
Right.
But what happened was, when it became really popular almost 2 years ago, I mean, it's been around for years and years and years. But when it became really popular for a couple of years ago, what we noticed were some people were going, well, if 2 days is good, 5 days is better.
Right.
Well, that's not good, because our body doesn't really use protein for fuel. It uses fat and carbohydrates for fuel. And so if that is the case, and you're prolonging this and you're continuing to never give yourself any fat, your body starts going, whoa, wait a second, I need to preserve the fat on my body because I don't know how long I'm going to go without fuel, so let me start slowing down metabolism.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where we came in with Dr. Berry with the whole beef, butter, bacon, and egg, where I'm like, I'm concerned that people are demonizing fat again. And he was like, I agree. And that's where we made the whole video series of living beef, butter, bacon, and egg for a while.
It's exactly how it says. You are fasting. It's like a fasting mentality, but you are sparing the protein instead of going through, that period of fasting with nothing, passing through your lips, right? So you can do fasting. You can do protein sparing modified fasting. It's a modified fast to allow for some protein.
Right.
But wrap your mind around, when you're thinking about doing something like a PSMF, take off PSMF and just say fasting. What would be a reasonable length of time that you could be fasting?
36 to 48 hours is actually the sweet spot.
If you are thinking to yourself, well, I'm going to fast for 2 months, that would sound silly, wouldn't it?
Right.
That would sound very, very silly for you to think, I am just not going to eat for 2 months. And yet, we sometimes will bring in, I'm on PSMF for 2 months.
Right.
That is equally silly. We don't want to just do nothing but basically fast with some protein. It's going to impact our metabolism moving away from it.
Yeah. Alan said I did PSMF 3 days a week and it worked great. Yeah, because
Awesome.
3 days a week is where it's supposed to be. 2 or 3 days a week, not 5 or 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And on the days that you are not doing PSMF, you're supposed to be feasting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's jump into our subscriber of the week. The first one is from Emily.
Hi, Emily.
Emily said, my name is Emily. I'm so incredibly thankful to have found this community. When my husband, James Burrows, asked me to do keto with him about 19 months ago, I thought this would be another failed attempt to lose weight. This time was different. This time he was excited because he found this doctor on YouTube that he had been binge watching, Dr. Barry, and then he in turn found this incredible couple of Joe and Rachel on YouTube that he started to binge watch too. I remember him telling me there is an entire community out there and we've been doing it all wrong. It's not a diet.
Wow.
I could never express how thankful for everyone who has motivated, taught, encouraged, and shown so much love when they never had to. I am down 75 pounds, but the non-scale victories to no longer have pain in my back and in my feet, no longer tired all the time, not a single ear infection, and no longer having the tubes in my ears,
Wow.
to name a few. But I'm even more thankful for better health for my husband, who's down 106
Yes.
pounds, and my brother, who's down 184
Wow.
pounds. Joe and Rachel, we are incredibly thankful for you.
Emily and James. Oh, look at that hot mama. Looking absolutely fantastic. I appreciate so much that their mess has become their message as well. You guys are such a shining light. This is Emily from Ready, Set, Keto.
Yep. We actually interviewed them on our podcast.
I love, though, that she came into our group like, I'm not my YouTube channel, like, hey, I'm Emily.
Yeah,
Like,
I love
I
that.
just love that.
We
Like,
appreciate
thank you
that.
so much. That means a lot to us, like, that sincerity. Like, that really, really speaks to us. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Next one we have is from Santa.
Hey, Triple B and E's 60-day results, heel spur, right and left heel pain that caused pain in lower back, hips, thighs, and limited mobility was completely gone by the 3rd week. Fitbit watch band adjusted 3 prongs, only 1 prong left, so may need a new one in the near future. No cravings for anything sweet or veggies. Healed unhealthy relationship with the scale. Total weight loss almost seems irrelevant, right? Because
Right.
everything else is so amazing. But 8.8 pounds after 60 days. That's incredible results that you're going to get to hold on to. I don't know how to properly use a tape measure, so I took photos, which was the next best thing of capturing measurements. Congrats to those of us who completed our Triple B and E journey and rooting for everyone
Right.
starting. Wow. Wow, you look absolutely amazing. That's 2 months.
Yep.
That is 2 months. Was it hard? Yes. Was it a huge change in mindset? Was for us.
Yeah.
Did I believe that I would have results like I had by investing that very hard elimination time? No. But look what happened. And we are not an enigma. This is what is happening when people are willing to eliminate some stuff and take a time out from things and be willing to go through Triple B and E. That is incredible. Congratulations.
Right. Yeah, it's funny. John has here, carnivore is keto. It is.
Yeah.
It is keto. It's just hardcore keto.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And remember, keto is just putting yourself into ketogenesis, which is your body is using your fat for fuel and turning your fat into ketones. How you get there is completely up to you. I got news for you. Anybody who's doing a severely low calorie, like Rachel, when she was eating 500 calories a day of nothing but yogurt and oatmeal, if we were to be able to go back, she was in ketosis. Why? She was severely calorie restricting. So once you've burned off those 500 calories you've eaten, your body's like, now what do? I go into stored fat and you start creating ketones. But the problem is it becomes a roller coaster. That is not sustainable. And then eating 500 calories ended up in her putting more weight back on because her metabolism slowed down to the point where if she ate 550 calories, she would gain weight.
I think that this whole community gives us such a precious opportunity to live out loving our neighbors. It gives us an opportunity to truly treat people the way that we would want to be treated. And sometimes I have to stop for a minute and think about people who have different jobs, who are in different seasons of their lives. I was talking to my mom about how and some people really don't celebrate like singleness, and they get like frustrated by it. And she's like, I have to remember that everybody doesn't have the blessing of cooking for one. They're not having to, deal with kids and different age groups and teenagers. And, she's like, I get to always select what I want to eat for the night,
Right.
But like, there's different people in different roles. I think about Michael, who was in our vlog yesterday from Utah. We love you, Michael. And Angel, his beautiful wife. It was so neat getting to meet them when we were in Utah. But thinking about somebody who is on the road as a truck driver, driving 70 hours a week, his keto is just going to naturally look different than our keto.
It's what he can get on the road.
Yeah, yeah, very different.
One more, we have Cynthia.
Hey, Cynthia.
Cynthia said, March 1st equals 7 months since I decided to start my weight loss journey. First pick was my birthday last year. As of today, down 62.8 pounds.
Wow.
If I start thinking of how much more I need to lose, I get seriously overwhelmed. So I have to break up my goal into small chunks. That's smart.
Very smart.
It helps keep me motivated, makes it feel less like mission
Yes.
impossible. The next goal is Wonderland.
Woohoo!
I'd love to be able to do it in time for the 2023 low-carb cruise, but would be satisfied if I could reach that goal by my birthday in July.
Good.
I have to remind myself this isn't a race, but rather a lifelong journey. Something that has helped me the last few months is instead of feeling angry at myself that I got so big, I switched to mindset of one of gratitude. The human body is amazing.
Yes.
I'm thankful that this body has kept going despite the abuse of poor food choices and lack of movement. I'm thankful my body is healing. And I know it sounds odd, but I tell my body it's okay to let go of the fat. Thank you, 2KK, for giving us a place to share our stories.
Wow, Cynthia!
Wow.
You look amazing. I love that. How it started and how it is going. Cynthia, I cannot wait to meet you in person on the low carb cruise. I'm really excited to get to see you face to face, but like, what a great perspective. And I don't think it's strange at all to speak to yourself. We're speaking to ourselves all the time. Usually it's not affirming, but that's very affirming. It's okay to let go.
Right.
It's okay to let go of anything that is superfluous to my life, anything that's unnecessary. I will absolutely release this fat. I'm gonna let go of these cravings. I'm gonna have to let go of hatred for myself. I let go of unforgiveness. Like, I think it's good to just be audible with it.
And the whole idea of looking at how much weight you need to lose overall and it being overwhelming, that is something that everybody needs to hear.
Yeah.
And I know that when I did keto, like, hey, listen, I went on, I was like, if I can get to 230 pounds, I mean, my last known weight I always say was 285 pounds, but I know I was over 300. And I was like, if I could get to 230, heck, if I could get to 250, I would be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I hadn't been under 230 pounds since I was in high school. So the thought of getting to 230 pounds alone seemed very overwhelming. And I ended up at 185. But how did I do that? Well, I was like, well, my goal is 230. Then when I got to 230, I didn't actually hit 230. I got on the scale and it was 229. I'm like, oh, I'm under 230. What about 220? And then when I got to 220, it was actually like 218. I'm like, what about 210? And the closer I got to that 200, I'm like, maybe this is possible. But if at 300 pounds, I would have gone, I want to weigh 185 pounds, I probably would have quit halfway through.
Oh, absolutely, because it's just such a huge...
It's huge to think that you're losing
jump.
a body, right? You're losing up when you lose 110 pounds, 120 pounds, 200 pounds, you're literally losing a human being.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's a lot. And we need to, like, when we go to the checkout line at the grocery store and you see like those ridiculous like magazine covers that say like it's possible to lose 2 pounds per day, and we just kind of like well, that's what success looks like. That's how I define success. Quick, fast, in a hurry, get it. Like, I'd like a number 4, please, which is 40 pounds of weight loss. You know, like, it doesn't happen like that. I am starting to like go into those checkout lines. And when I see that, I say to myself, like, this ain't going to work like that. It's going to be slow and steady, but I'm going to win my race. But it's going to be slow and steady. This headline that's speaking to me, that is not the truth. It is not going to be 5 seconds and we're done.
Becca, thank you very much for the $10 super chat. Said major non-scale victory. As of 8:30 this morning, I'm off all psychotropics for the first time in 40 years.
Wow.
Thank you to Dr. Chris Palmer, 2 crazy ketos in the keto communities.
Oh, Becca, we're so tickled for you. That is such a blessing. Wow. That is fantastic. We are rejoicing with you, and I thank you so much for showing, like, you have shared in our Mighty Networks daily results. You have shown us exactly what we're talking about, that this isn't I got off on my medication like today and then I just live it out, but you have slow and steady dialed that down every single day. And I am rejoicing with you. This is such a victory. And you're showing so many other people this is possible. Even after decades of this being the case, I'm so tickled. I can't express in words like how proud I am of you.
Let's
and
take
how
a quick
happy I am.
fade to black to add a commercial later.
I'm not a mess. I'm not crying. You're crying. But it's just, what a victory. That is such a victory.
Let's
I feel
jump
it.
into the comments from last week's YouTube. First one is from Kate.
Hey, Kate.
Said Marty Kendall says your diet doesn't need a name.
No.
I love that.
Yes.
Eat what is right for your optimal health. I love just eating meat every day. But I will add something else if I really want it, or it's all that's available at a restaurant. For instance, and I don't stress about it.
Yes, I feel like that was something that the biggest elimination that I needed in my life was like stressing over like guilt, shame, worry that I was leaving something out, always like chewing on thoughts of I'm falling short of expectations. I'm falling short of goals. I haven't achieved enough, done enough, worked enough, strived enough today. It was amazing, like how much time I have spent putting energy into that worry. And I mean, people joke all the time about like how you'll get into a shower or something and you'll like roll around in your mind like arguments that will never happen, right? Like, you know, you're thinking when I have, you know, I
just did it with you before we started.
When I'm confronted with somebody like this is how it's going to play out. And I put a lot of just like energy into worrying about stuff that's just never going to happen. And I put a lot of energy into chewing on thoughts of where I'm less than. It didn't make me more. Right. It didn't enhance me. It didn't help me be capable of getting more work done or, you know, getting to another level. It just drained me of what was actually possible in the day.
I literally just did that with Rachel before we started. I got a notice from my lacrosse assigner. For those of you who don't know, I'm a high school lacrosse official, and we're in the middle of lacrosse season right now.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, I'm taking you off of your game tomorrow, which is kind of a bummer because I was working with Anthony. And he's like, I'm putting you on 2 games down in Miami, which I'm grateful for. I love having 2 games. It's a 50-mile drive, and traffic coming home from Miami at 6 o'clock is a nightmare. You don't get home till 8 o'clock.
So if you're there.
So I've always been like, give me a second game, because even if the second game starts at 7, I'm home by 9:30, but at least I worked 2 games and made an extra $90. And so he's like, but here's the thing. The first game's at 4, an hour and a half to hour and 45 minutes. He goes, the second game's at 6, which is in Miami traffic only about 35 to 40 minutes away. So he's like, the second game, it starts when you get there. And I immediately said to Rachel, man, like, it's like you're setting me up for failure because I'm going to walk into a hostile situation of why are you late? And I could right now freak out about that for the next 24 hours or more. But is that going to change anything? No. So I mean, you know what? they got to understand we only have X amount of officials and I get there when I get there. It's just as much on me because the later I get there, the later I get home, right?
Right.
So, just have to
Believe
let
the
go of some
best.
of that stress. Well-fed human. Everyone should be reading Dr. Palmer's book, Brain Energy. It is a must-read. I agree. We've interviewed Dr. Palmer both on 11 on 11 and last year when we were in Omaha. And I will say, I'll even go a little bit further. If you have any friends or family members who have loved ones who are dealing with mental illness issues, give them the book.
Yeah.
I'm not saying go to somebody who has a mental illness unless they're receptive.
Right.
And go, hey, you need to read this book. But family members.
Right.
Especially family members of children. You know, if you've got parents who are like, I don't know what to do, my children are having these issues, suggest the book.
Right.
Because it is an amazing read. And the way he wrote the book, although there's a lot of technical stuff, he wrote it so that you and I can understand it.
That's right.
And that's what I really love about it. Next one we have is from Michelle.
Hey, Michelle, I'm thankful that I do not have to go through the roller coaster of emotional eating. Ketovore fasting is saving my life. I had to come back to make this comment. My oldest son had this obsession with Stanley thermoses since he was about 12 years old. So whenever we went to the store, he would spot one of their thermoses and we would get it. But sometimes we had to say no because they were like $28. He's 30 years old now, and I think I'm going to search for that cup for his birthday.
This one here.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miriam. So this is the 40 ounce, and again, I like it because it fits in my cup holder and it lasts me all day long.
Right.
The only place I found that currently has them in stock is if you go to Stanley's website, but the only ones that they have are the matte finish ones, which are like $50.
But I
still like them.
I think it's precious, though, that, Michelle, your son was ahead of his time because, he believed in Stanley before it got picked up on TikTok and, everybody started buying the cups, right?
Next one's from Jean.
Hey, Jean.
I did a 39.5 hour fast.
Woo-hoo.
Now I'm doing ketovore, but I want to do beef, butter, bacon, egg. I just can't let it go of my goat cheese and cheese. I know I need to stop being addicted to it. I'm giving up Diet Pepsi now, so there's that. I feel like $1 million.
Good.
People my age, 65, are and complaining about old age and hurting. I try to get them on board, but they're like, that can't be good. I'll show
Way
them.
to go. Yeah, I mean, again, even if you're the only one, sometimes we get in that mindset of we're the only one doing this. Well, I'm also the only one having the results that I'm having, right? I'm the only one that feels good in my body. I'm the only one that's not having the skin issues or the headaches or all of the different problems that I had before. I used to be just like everybody else. I would go to work and they would tell me about all of the aches and pains they had and how they felt terrible and had to use the entire weekend to just recover enough energy to go back to work on Monday. And I don't feel that way anymore. And I'm okay with that. So I sort of need to be okay with the fact that maybe I'm doing things differently than other people are doing, but that's okay because I also get to enjoy results that they're not having.
Yeah. And, I love beef, butter, bacon, egg. I think beef, butter, bacon, egg is amazing. I think that we can do anything for 30 days. It's not a lifetime. It's
Right.
30 days or 60 days or 90 days. But I think 30 days is great. A lot of people have done it for 30 days and are like, I think I'm enjoying this. I'm going to keep going. Again, set the goal small. You can always add on. But if you set a large goal and then you decide halfway through, I don't like that, subconsciously we start going, well, you're a failure. You're a quitter. But if you set it small and then you add on to it, that it helps us subconsciously. And I applaud you. If you can do everything except for the cheese and
You're
continue
doing
the
great.
cheese, then do that and then maybe try taking out the cheese later. I did keto for years drinking a lot of Diet Coke. I mean, 200 ounces a day with the attitude of I've given up everything else. Now I'm down to a can a day, maybe. Sometimes, I go a week without some. It just depends. But originally, I never would have even thought about that. So do what's best for you, whatever keeps you going. Next one is from User. It's
Hey.
just an anonymous person.
I was going to ask you if you would do the triple B and E again. I enjoy you doing it with you guys, but then you said it's not for you. I still enjoy watching you. Oh, we'll do triple B and E again.
I don't think we've ever said it's not for us.
No.
I absolutely love beef, butter, bacon, egg, and I would say that that's still a majority of our diet. We just incorporate keto bricks once in a while, but we don't have them every day.
Or
and
like
we have
chicken.
keto chow, and we have chicken every once in a while. But I would still say probably 75 to 80% of our diet is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. We just occasionally add in some other things, but we will definitely do it again. What I've said is it's not sustainable for me as a permanent lifestyle, but Dr. Berry never designed it to be permanent.
90 days.
It was supposed to be a 90-day challenge.
Right.
Now, some people have so many different autoimmune diseases
that
they need to really restrict things like eating only the Lion diet. And if that is the only way that you can eat to keep yourself healthy, then that's what you need to do. But again, if it's not sustainable, maybe open it up just a little bit. I look at, like Carnivore Angel, our friend Amy. She's had a lot of issues and she's trying to tweak and find what works best for all of her different medical issues.
Which shows you again that it's not, keto is not a moo-moo.
And it may change.
It is not one size fits all. And at different seasons of your life, you may be eating for different, dietary requirements.
You look at Dr. Berry. Dr. Berry eats mostly meat. And Nisha eats very ketovorish. She recently put up a video about she loves onions and stuff, right? So there's two people in the same household. They're both very healthy. I mean, Nisha has reversed a lot of autoimmune issues.
Hashimoto's, seriously.
And so she finds this what works for her. It's what makes her feel best. It's what she finds sustainable. Next one is from Diane.
Hey, Diane. Ketosis equals carnivore enabled me to walk a 17.77 miles today. Healing from MS clocked 2.25 miles today, finishing 60 days of triple B and E and carrying on over on Dr. Berry's tribe. That is so awesome. Congratulations on that.
Okay, let's take a quick fade to black and come back with the rest of the comments.
You know what is nice when you have your meals, your food as simple? We still have a mind that enjoys planning. We still have a mind that needs to be entertained with something, with thoughts of something. And I find the simpler our food gets, the more elaborate our activity gets. We start to look for joy and variety in places other than our plate, because you're my plate looks pretty much the same. There's beef on it and eggs and bacon and butter. So where is my joy going to be? Where is my entertainment? I'm no longer being entertained by food. It's not the cure to my boredom. It's not the distraction to my stress. Where am I going to find those things now that I'm not looking for it in my plate? We find other things to do, which is kind of exciting.
Next one's from Jason.
Hey, Jason. Hey,
Go ahead.
I was wondering if anyone had any advice. I've been doing ketovore for about 1.5 months and lost a good bit of weight, but recently the scale stopped moving and this morning moved in the wrong direction. I fasted from 6 p.m. to 11 a.m. every day, or I fast. Yesterday, I had about 1,900 calories, only 16 of which were carbs. Some franks I ate from Dearborn Meat Company. The rest was all totally carnivore: bacon, eggs, butter, cheese. Any advice on what I could do differently? P.S. I'm also using fasting drops from Keto Chow, and I drank a good amount of coffee, tea, and water.
Okay, so this kind of leads into today's topic for Keto Beyond the Couch, which is how do you break a stall? And there's no one answer, which I know everybody wants. What's the one answer to break a stall?
Right.
There's so many factors that go into our weight loss, and we've talked about this before. And first of all, let's remind everyone, we're not doctors, nurses, or health professionals. This is all based on what we've learned from reading and talking to people who are doctors, and from our own experiment and through my master health coach coursing. So our body wants to be in homeostasis, which means it literally wants to, whatever you take in, get rid of.
Right.
It doesn't want to take in more then it can get rid of, and it doesn't want to take in less than it needs every day. So our metabolism is always changing. So what I mean by that is if you overeat, if you eat a lot of fuel, initially before trying to store that extra fuel, your body's going to try to get rid of it. And it will do things like give you the desire to exercise. If we listen to our body and
you
are
can
in tune
ignore
with
it.
You can ignore it, but it will try to get you to go do some movement, go for a walk, go to the gym, whatever you want. Many times we will fidget. When we do fidgeting and stuff, I remember years ago, our son Caleb, when he was a really big sugar addict, when he was a kid, you would go through the store and he would make like dinosaur movements, and he would have lightsaber
battles.
You would literally be walking through Walmart and hear it, because we're Star Wars freaks.
Right.
He's like having like Darth Maul lightsaber battles.
General Grievous.
That was his body trying to get rid of this excess energy that he was consuming in sugar. And I remember the teachers going, he needs to be on Ritalin. And we're like, no. And the second we still started cutting out some of the sugar, and this is well before keto, we just were like, well, what if we stopped giving the sugar cereal? It all went away because he wasn't getting all of that quick energy. On the other side, if we consistently undereat the amount our body needs to survive, it will slow down, process these things, and stop things that it deems not necessary to survive, like growing your hair, your nails, all of that kind of stuff. Because the number one thing it needs to do is function your brain and pump your heart. So it's going to start going, well, wait a second, how long is this fat on my body going to last? I'm not getting any fuel in, so let me start slowing things down. So when we cut calories, and in order to, I hate the word calories, but when we cut the amount of fuel that we are eating, which you need to do to lose weight, you need to eat a little bit less than what your body needs for all of your activity and everything, your body will eventually start slowing things down. So a couple of things you can do. A, lower more. Sometimes that's going to work. But eventually you have to do refeeds. You have to speed it back up. At 1,900 calories, you've got a little bit of wiggle room to maybe lower 100 calories. Again, I would not look at calorie counting. I would look at grams of fat and carb and protein that you're eating. Make sure you've got good sleep, stress management. Make sure you're moving every day. It doesn't mean go to the gym for 2 hours a day. And some other things you might want to do in looking at this would be, as Dr. Barry's talking about, maybe try cutting the carbs a little bit. And then also switch up your fasting routine. Our body likes change.
Yeah.
So if you're fasting every day from 6 p.m. to 11 a.m., maybe shift it. Maybe try a couple of days where you fast in the evening instead of in the morning. So, eat breakfast and then cut your eating by like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock and see how that works. You can also throw in like a 24 to 48 hour fast once a week or once every couple of weeks. Dr. Linsky's talked about, he ate OMAD every day for a year and didn't lose a pound. And then as soon as he started incorporating a 48-hour fast, the weight started falling off.
I really, whenever I see something like this that looks really beautiful, like it looks like you've done a lot of hard work to tweak and eliminate what's going on in your plate, that is the first thing that I do is see like what's going on off that plate.
Right.
Because what's going on off that plate is probably the issue. Are you moving? It is non-negotiable. It is not one of those things where I have to be like okay with it or excited about it. I just have to do it.
Right.
There are lots of things that I just have to do. Like, it's funny, Michelle and John Paul are like, some of Peyton's diapers, I do not want to be involved in the changing of this diaper,
right.
But I just have to do it. Sometimes I feel pretty poopy about having to like move and exercise. I feel like it's hard to journal, to really get my feelings and emotions out, to see what is a stress that I need to reduce. Sometimes it's not easy to go to bed at night at a reasonable time because I've measured adulting based on how long that I can be up having a party in the evening, I guess.
Right.
But I have to do it anyway, and that is where I think you'll see movement happen. That may be the stall issue.
Next one's from Emilio.
Hey, Emilio.
I've been on my keto journey for about 3 years, and lately I hit a stall. I've talked to a few people, and they've told me I'm running too much. I do about 35 minutes a day running with a heart between 135 to 150 beats per minute, and then I do 45 minutes of resistance training, 2 muscle groups per day. Is working on my cardio causing my stall? I've been in the stall for about 11 months. Starting weight was 305, current weight 230. Any advice or insight would be greatly appreciated. Thanks. Okay, so I would not say running is causing a stall, but running could be causing you to burn a lot more fuel, and you're not feeding yourself enough fuel. So it's not necessarily the running, it's that we're not giving ourselves enough fuel. So one thing, I don't know what your age is. When you are doing cardio, you want to keep your heart rate to 180 minus your age. So if you're 50 years old, that would be 130 beats. We don't want to stress our heart more than once every 7 to 10 days. Remember, your heart is the only muscle you can't rest.
Right.
So if you are doing workouts, you have leg day, and then you give your legs a couple days to work on the muscle and heal your muscle. You can't do that on your heart. So if you are taxing your heart every single day, that could lead to bad things because you're never giving your heart a chance to recuperate. So you want to, when you're doing cardio, 180 minus your age is a good heart rate, and then once every 7-10 days, you do a sprint session where just for like 20-second, 30-second
balls
bouts,
to the wall.
You go balls to the wall, you tax your heart, and then you let it come down, and that should only be like 15 to 20 minutes. You do it like 4 or 5 times, and that helps with that kind of stuff. So, but cardio will never help you to lose weight, but it is amazing for your overall health. So you try cutting out a little bit of running or cut it down a little bit. But again, if you're also doing 45 minutes of resistance training, so I would tell you, again, without knowing everything, it's hard. You may just not be eating enough, and your body is starting to stall because it's like, I need more fuel.
Right.
And so you might want to do a reverse diet back up and get yourself up probably 500 to 800 calories more than you're currently eating. You sit there for about a month, and then you're going to be amazed that you can cut off only like 100 or 150 of those 800 calories, 500 calories that you just added, and you're going to lose weight. So you'll literally be losing weight eating more than you're currently eating. It's really weird, but our body is amazing.
It is amazing.
Next one is from Andrea.
Hey, Andrea, non-scale victory. I bought a size large shirt and leggings without trying them on. I was getting extra large, and my daughter said they would be too big for me. I told her, okay, I'll buy the large, and if they don't fit, she can return them. But bam, they do fit. The leggings probably could have been a medium. I'm so thankful for people who can see us rightly. Yep. Sometimes we don't see ourselves correctly. We talk about how the scale is the devil and a mirror is a liar. A lot of times when we look in the mirror, we may see the totality of our journey, and we see ourselves like how we used to be. You know, sometimes we pick out the flaws. We notice the problem areas. And sometimes it takes having somebody that loves you and sees the truth about you to go shopping with you, and then like try to encourage you to actually purchase things based on what you actually look like, not what you're thinking you look like.
Yeah. Next one is from Mona.
Hey, Mona.
If I really feel good about the diet and the weight is coming off, is it necessary or beneficial to test for ketosis? If so, what is the best method? No. You don't need to test for ketones.
Isn't that good news?
I think it's amazing news. I haven't pulled our keto mojo out in like 3 or 4 months. We use it when we're doing like testing on ourselves or we're doing experiments, but you honestly don't want to chase numbers. If you're losing weight, you're doing well. I wouldn't worry about it. Now, if you want to know what is the best, most accurate method to test for ketones, it is with a good breathalyzer. But I have to say, a good one.
Yeah, it's
there
hard.
There are not a lot of good ones out there. A good one is going to cost you $150 to $300 because they need to calibrate themselves every time you turn them on. The only issue with breath testing is you have to do it right. If you don't do it right, you get false readings. So the ketones that we have in our lungs, they're at the very bottom of your lung. So when you use a breath meter, you have to blow all of the air out of your lung and then keep going, and that's when you're going to test. So if you just exhale into a breath meter, you probably won't get an accurate reading.
Right.
You have to get rid of almost everything that's in your lungs and then wait on. Yes, there's a lot of user error. But it is the most accurate to know, are you currently in ketosis? Because what's happening is your fat turns to fuel that gives you acetone, which is what you're breathing out, and that means you're currently burning fat. When you do a blood meter, it's just telling you, do you have ketones in your blood? Which, by the way, they're excess ketones. But that doesn't mean your body's currently using them.
Right.
So if you drink alcohol, for example, and you have ketones in your blood, you have ketones in your blood, and if you use a Keto Mojo, it's going to say, hey, you're in ketosis, but you're not, because your body's not using those ketones. Ketosis is when your body uses ketones. So the only real way to do that would be with a breath meter, but there's a lot of user error with them. So that's why we don't talk about them a lot, because they're expensive and there's a lot of user error. But no, you don't need to test it all. Next one is from Dana.
Hey Dana, is anyone familiar with weight gain immediately following surgery along with high blood glucose and low ketone readings? This is my third surgery in 3 years, and unfortunately I did not save my weight loss journals from those 2 surgeries. I've gained 10 pounds since last Friday. 6 pounds was overnight. I had 1 bag of fluid with electrolytes. I had low potassium, an injection that had Decredon in it, and a Toradol injection in the hospital. I'm wondering if I should be doing something differently eating wise. I usually fast a decent amount weekly, but since surgery, I'm hungrier. I'm sticking to 1 to 2 meals a day, and of course they're keto. Does doing triple B and E again seem like a good idea? I've been in a loop for 2.5 years of not being able to bust through 80 pounds lost, even by 1 pound. Talk about frustrating. So now with weight gain, I'm disappointed. I worked so hard during doing triple B and E to lose the other 10 pounds I gained from 3 steroid shots, and now it's back on again. Not sure all this makes sense since I am on painkillers.
Okay, Dana, first of all, you're doing well.
Yes, you are.
What I'm going to tell you to do is get well first.
Yeah.
Keep doing keto. Get well first. As far as your glucose being higher and possibly having weight gain after surgery, I would not be concerned about that unless you're severely overeating or eating a bunch of carbs. It's inflammation.
Yeah.
First of all, people think the only thing that raises our glucose is eating sugar or any kind of carbs. That's not true. I have been on a 72-hour fast and had my glucose go over 150.
Right.
Okay, so if I didn't eat, why did my glucose go up? My body made it. Your glucose will go up if you get a pimple. Your glucose will go up when you get excited. Your glucose will go up when you work out. Your glucose will go up when you're stressed. Your glucose will go up when you have sex. It goes up because your body is going to create glucose to help fight off infections, to give you energy, especially if you're not eating, it'll do that. So, and again, that comes down to like a protein sparing modified fasting. So the glucose is probably going up because you're stressed and you have inflammation and you're in pain. Pain makes your glucose go up. There's nothing you can do about that. And then surgery is going to bring inflammation.
Yeah.
I'm going to be brutally show what I never show.
Oh, no.
I got hit by a lacrosse ball.
Look at that.
Okay? I had a shot driving 90 miles an hour hit me right here. Look at the size of this black and blue. It is a hard rock mess right now.
It really is.
I am so swollen there that when I put on my pants, it's like hanging out the side. There's probably 2 pounds of inflammation and fluid in there.
I mean, you can feel it. It's like a big, giant bowling ball.
And honestly, I got hit, and then I got hit again the next day in the same spot.
Yeah.
Anthony's like, move. And I'm like, but you're not supposed to move. I turned to the side. It was better to get there. It was coming towards my stomach itself.
Thanks for that common sense, Anthony. Just move.
But the point is that, yeah, that is inflammation. If you go out in the sun, it's inflammation. It's temporary. It's just your body's healing. So don't worry about it too much. Next one is from Diane.
Hi, Diane.
I'm on vacation for a month in Florida.
How nice.
For some reason, I'm having a difficult time. My head is telling me I should treat myself with food I should not have, like popcorn, chocolate, ice cream. But so far, I am holding strong.
I'm really proud of you, Diane. So you're on vacation, which naturally has you feeling like I need to treat myself. This is a time of like blessing myself. It's time out for me. It's fun for me. Vacation is a reward for like the other things we're doing throughout the rest of the year. You're in a new location. And so it totally makes sense that you want to treat yourself. Don't ignore that. Just take some time while you're on vacation to try to see what are other things that speak reward to you.
Right.
You know, a lot of times I would be like, you know, never getting out of the bed and eating food in my bedroom. Like that was a relaxation. That was treating myself. Now I look for other things, like what can I do that will interest me, that is just for me, just fun for me. This past weekend, I just decided like I'm going to a farmer's market. I want to go see it. Like usually that's not something that like the kids or Joe are super excited about, but it spoke rest and fun to me. So I sought that out instead of being like, hey, I'm gonna like get up in the morning and eat some kind of like a sugary treat. It's not a bad thing to reward yourself and to enjoy yourself. We're just looking for other things other than food.
Yeah. Next one is from Ola.
Hey, Ola.
My goal was to not have my driver's license weight not be a lie.
That's good.
But this isn't going to happen this time around. I have bigger brisket goals, like being a part-time caretaker to the best dad in the entire world. With the hopefully last time time change, I will be able to hike after work to release some of that stress. Happy weekend. Yes,
That's
this coming
good.
Sunday, time change day. Hopefully this is the last one. I'm tired of the time change.
Yeah.
Let us know down in the comment section. Are you
What do you
tired? I don't
think?
care where we go. Daylight savings time or regular time. Just stop changing the clocks.
Pick one and
Stop.
move forward.
We don't need it. Stop changing the clocks.
But I'm so proud of you. Thank you so much for, you know, what you're doing for your dad. Like that is such a special thing that you're taking care of him.
Next one's from Jeff.
Hey Jeff, hello all. I'm new here. Well, welcome Jeff. Can't wait to connect with you all. I started keto about 4 years ago. I've been doing ketovore for the last 2 years. Anyone have any suggestions for quitting diet soda? It is definitely my weakness. Just can't seem to quit it yet.
So I'm gonna tell you, Jeff. This is you're speaking my language here. I'm a soda addict, and I admit it. And I don't know if I will ever not drink soda. I try to drink cleaner sodas. I try to drink less soda. What has worked for me recently, well, beef, butter, bacon, and egg, I will say, really helped me cut my soda habit down. Because again, I was drinking a couple 100 ounces, then I quit it, and then it worked itself back in where it was back up to 128 ounces. And then I did beef, butter, bacon, and egg, and it wound it back down. And so when I decided, like, hey, I'm going to have a soda every once in a while, I know me. I try not to do the fountain thing. I don't ever bring my big cup in to go to a fountain at Wawa anymore because it's 128 ounces. I restrict myself if I'm on the road. First of all, we do it mostly on the road only. And I restrict myself to one of the cups there. So that cuts a lot out. At home, I found that if I bought 2-liter bottles, I would drink the whole bottle. If I bought cans, I would open up a lot of cans. But the 16-ounce bottles that you would buy like in like 7-Eleven,
The little fancy ones?
they tend to go on sale, and so what I did was I get them there, whatever flavor is buy one get one free, whether it be Coke or Pepsi one. I will get that, and I say you can have one bottle. And because I'm only allowed to open the one bottle, and I know it's weird because what's the difference between a bottle and a can? I don't know. There's something different.
Something for you.
Because I don't like drinking out of aluminum cans. I don't know. But that seems to work. And then I would say Dr. Berry's method has been amazing, especially when it comes to fountain sodas.
Right.
And that is cut it with seltzer water. I have found you can cut Coke Zero by more than 50% with seltzer water, and it's still excessively sweet.
Yeah, it is.
So literally fill it halfway with seltzer
you really
water
want the carbonation.
and halfway with Diet Coke or
it's,
Coke Zero.
It's not just the taste, it's the tickle in my throat that I enjoy. So I need another tickle.
Next one's from Marcia.
What is the best MCT powder?
We really like Perfect Keto. I think they have very clean ingredients. If you don't know what MCT powder is, I like it better than standard liquid because it doesn't bother my stomach as much.
Right.
It doesn't give me the runs.
Yeah.
And they use good, clean ingredients. All MCT powder is going to be bound to something. They use acacia fiber or gum acacia. And that is one of the healthiest things you can have. You'll see that even Robert, when he makes his keto bricks, he uses MCT oil powder. He uses one that's bound to acacia fiber. So we really like the Perfect Keto one. We have a link down below, but I will say never buy Perfect Keto unless there's a sale.
Yeah.
Ever. Because there's
you
a sale at least twice a month.
Yeah.
And you'll save a lot of money. But just use our link when you do buy it. One more is from Juliana.
Hey, Juliana. Hey, Joseph Stauffer. I see your case of water at Costco and raise you wet soil bags at Lowe's. I took a mental health day today to build at least part of my garden at my new home for the next 3 years. For me, by me, because of me. Non-scale victory. That is awesome. Look at that. Yeah, look at
talk about functional fitness.
Look at that. So the shovel's triceps. You've got forearms, biceps, chest, abs, shoulders, calves, thighs, buttocks. The original full body workout. Somebody, I hate to say it, but somebody that's like, I don't like going to the gym, but I also never get any movement in. There you go. There's something around your house that can be worked on.
Functional fitness.
There's something around your house. You know, if you're carrying around the laundry basket, you are putting away stuff. Maybe you are like, you know, maybe we're starting to see a little bit less like winter. Maybe you're putting some things away or going outside to sort of check on the plants and stuff if it's not snowing where you're at anymore. Like, there's outside stuff to be done. It can be your gym. Yep. For sure.
I've highlighted a few comments I wanted to pick out. Let's spend the next 10 minutes or so going to a comment. Bird loves pain with
Hey!
I just hit delete. Basically, they said pain meds can cause inflammation too.
Yes.
Yes. It's one of the reasons I avoid them. Even when I hurt my wrist, they gave me steroids. I refused to take them. I filled the prescription, but I did not take them. And they gave me painkillers. I took them the first night because I was in so much pain. And after that, now I just have a bottle of painkillers because I do try to limit them because, first of all, a lot of people don't realize things like Tylenol and stuff, it all has maltodextrin in it.
Yeah, it does.
And so a lot of those painkillers will affect your weight loss and inflammation and all that stuff.
Yeah, if you're leveraging a lot of like Advil through the day and Tylenol and you're using Dramamine and you're like, you have all of these things, a lot of times they're coated in it.
John said no interest in exercise. I have realized I have energy to do more than just keto on the couch all day. I think as we progress, we move more until we start to do stuff that looks like exercise.
That is great.
Right.
It needs to be.
We don't exercise. Like, I'm not going to the gym for 2 hours, but I definitely move. I do my lacrosse. Scuba diving. Oh my gosh, the amount of calories and the leg workout you get when you go scuba diving. We just find things that are fun. Going to a water park and walking up and down stairs. Like, if you told me to go do a Stairmaster, I'd be like, no. But tell me to go up and down stairs to go down a fun water slide, happy to do that.
So the biggest thing is, like, what have you got your eyes on? If you're only looking at the four walls in your house, it's time to, like, go someplace else. Like, it is time to, like, look at, you know, what is there around. You know, we said it in...
Spring is here.
Spring is here. You know, if everybody's like, hey, winter's been really hard, then you need to get your eyes on what is beautiful, what is thawing out. Like, if you can go to a museum in your area, or you can, like, go walk around the mall today, even if it's cold, like, you probably need to get your eyes on something else. Like, that's how you're going to get new ideas for what does look appealing to you. Got to try some new stuff.
Terry said, I didn't hear this directly,
Terry.
but I read in another member's post that Rachel suggested weighing in the evening may be a better strategy. If the post was accurate, can you explain it? I don't remember you making that post.
I have not made that
I think that weighing in the evening is probably never going to be a good idea because You're going to have inflammation from your day. You're going to have whatever you ate or drank. The best time to weigh is at the butt crack of dawn, like as soon as you get up.
Right.
After you go to the bathroom, although for me, I find I actually weigh more after I go to the bathroom, and naked.
That's what we usually do.
Yeah.
But my thing would be more a case of like, weigh no more than twice a month.
Yeah.
That was if you want to quote me on something, weigh twice a month.
Yeah.
Find 2 times in a month that like you that you check in, and it may be like, you know, do it the 1st and the 15th, or do it the 15th and the 30th, or you know, something like that, where you're like, this is my weigh in, and resist the urge to eat to weigh in day. Okay? Like, we know that's like Weight Watchers behavior, right? That you're like, oh, if I'm going to weigh in on the 15th of every month, the 13th to 14th is going to be a 48-hour fast.
Yeah. That's,
you're not really
getting accurate numbers.
You're fooling yourself. You're the only person you're lying to. No one else is like concerned about like how much I weigh on the scale. Right. It's only me. So if I'm trying to be realistic, let's be realistic, right? Let's be honest.
Brenda said, hello from Ocala.
Hi.
I've been trying fasting for 24, but I'm noticing my dawn numbers are higher and not coming down quickly as my body is dumping insulin. So, if your dawn numbers are higher, you may not be consuming enough fat, or just enough fuel in general. So your body's creating glucose because it feels it needs it. And so that is going to happen if you're doing it on a regular basis. I would try switching things up a little bit. Look at when are you doing your fasting? Like when are you ending your eating window, so that, you know, you can have other, like, you know, go to the next morning. If you're ending it early, like say 1 o'clock, well, you're asking your body to go the whole time. And if you're not completely fat adapted, or if you haven't been eating enough fuel, your body is going to resort to creating that glucose that it needs. So that's just something you might want to look at. And again, please don't be afraid of insulin. I see a lot of comments and posts where like, oh, well, you never want to have insulin. You do want to have insulin. You need insulin. If your body doesn't make insulin, you're a type 1 diabetic.
Right.
So you need insulin. Proof of that is type 1 diabetics who don't create insulin have to inject themselves with insulin. Insulin has a lot more function than just lowering glucose. It's a growth hormone. Now, you can't lose weight in the presence of insulin, so the idea that what we want to do is control how much insulin our body produces and how often. Every time you eat, your body is going to create insulin. So that goes back to, how do I break a stall? Be honest with yourself and make sure you're not eating 25 meals a day. And I know a lot of people are like, I don't eat 25 meals a day. Every time you put something in your mouth that your body has to digest, you're eating.
I saw Mary T said that she actually named her scale Dick, which is hilarious.
Clean,
and then Chris said it's Ricardo over here at my house. Now my father's name was Richard.
Yep.
And I remember the first time that we went to going to like a company party. He worked for UPS. And I can remember going to like a picnic and someone coming up to him and calling him Dick. And I was like, that's not nice. That's naughty. Like, I remember him thinking, and he was like, no, baby, that's my nickname. And I was like, why? I never made that connection. Can anybody explain to me, like, how does Richard become Dick? Like, I understand William becoming Will or even Bill, but I never got that. And like, yeah, Dick was my father's like nickname, and a lot of people called him that.
John said, I tend to gain 5 to 10 pounds when I get sick, but I quickly lose it as soon as I start feeling
Yes.
better. Yep, that's our body's way of dealing with this illness.
It's inflammation.
Teresa said, we're vacationing in Florida. I'm surprised at how restaurants are not willing to make dietary changes for their customers. I'm sad. Thank goodness for Wendy's and McDonald's patties a la carte. Absolutely.
We've had some good luck
a
with
lot
it.
of the restaurants inside of the hotels don't want to make a lot of changes.
But if you are like going to a place, and I like to really leverage Yelp, and which is like, you know, you're looking up different restaurants, like what is around me, what am I interested in going to, and then I make a call before we get to the restaurant so that I'm not having to deal with like my questions in real time. Like I can come in knowing like what are the substitutions that they're willing to be made. And you can kind of gauge from that conversation if people are willing to make changes or not. But then I can come in and say like, hey, I called ahead and they said that they could change out this side for a patty. I talked to this person and they said that this would be okay and acceptable. So it's kind of like the conversation's already been had before I get to the restaurant.
Yeah. Let's see. Jennifer said,
Hey, Jennifer.
carnivore works great for me. I don't need you to be carnivore to gain. So,
Yay.
so very much from this
Thanks,
community.
Jennifer.
Thank you very
we
much.
really appreciate that. We really, really do.
Kayla.
Hey, Kayla.
How long did it take you guys to stop feeling you just wanted sweet treats daily? I'm 6 months into keto, and most days I have a keto treat after dinner, and I feel it keeps me from cheating.
I would say a year.
Then keep going.
Yeah, I would say like a year, honestly.
Yeah.
Before and it almost like you kind of backdoor into it, and you just kind of notice.
You start realizing, hey.
Oh wait, I didn't have that. It was
Yeah.
definitely not like a concerted effort to get rid of it. So don't put yourself on like the mission impossible, like you've lit the wick and you're saying like this is how much longer I have to be okay with treats before the bomb explodes and I'm no longer successful. Don't think of it like that. This ain't like a stick of dynamite that's gonna blow up in your face.
Yeah.
And if you are having success and sticking to eating this low carb way of life, that is a major success. And I instead think of like, instead of it being a timetable where it's like, I've got to get rid of this in a certain amount of time, start looking at the longevity of how you are eating primarily meat and veggies and whole foods, right?
Yeah.
Like start gaining data on this. Man, it's been 6 months since I've continued eating this way. 7 months since I've continued eating this way. That's the success.
Yeah, just keep doing it, and so long as you're having results, I wouldn't worry about it. The only thing we'll tell you is keep your sweet treats with a meal.
Yeah.
Don't have it separately later
Couple it.
on. And then eventually what we ended up doing was we moved to like a dessert day where we were allowing ourselves one day a week where we were
But
having
it happened
But it
naturally.
happened naturally. Diana, some days carnivore, some days keto, but something's working. I lost 105 pounds,
Yay.
feeling great and moving more. Love this lifestyle. I thank you so much for your info and support.
You're so welcome.
Miss Island Girl.
Hi there.
Dealing with so much stress, I can fast till evening, then I binge. Boredom, lonely. I hadn't done so well for a year. I lost 80 pounds, now 40 pounds back on. Girl, what's wrong with my brain?
Your brain wants you to deal with the stress. A lot of times we say, you know, we have that shirt. Joe has a shirt that Caleb got him that has like a shark that's like clearly taken a bite out of that
Covered
shirt.
in blood.
Covered in blood.
I don't wear it because it's white.
And it says, it's fine. Everything is fine. I am fine. Clearly, from the indicator of that shirt, that's not fine. And it's also how our child sees daddy dealing with stress, right? Like when we've done that, like that was another thing. Because I was like that. I'm fine. Everything is fine. And we're almost like that's how we're supposed to be. Our bodies, our minds, our souls are crying out for us to relieve the stress, relieve the pressure. And we just sometimes continue screwing the lid on top of our jar. It's not going to help. No matter what you do, if you really want to move past a stall, you're gonna have to do that hard work of getting better sleep, moving your body, and dealing with stress. And sometimes it begins with just listing, what are your stressors?
Yeah.
What is stressing you out? And start making one step at a time. There is something that you can do to reduce your stress. If you think to yourself, hey, the mornings are really crazy. They're really crazy in the morning. I feel super rushed. It makes me yell at my kids, and then I feel very guilty, like all of these things. Okay, so what is something that you can do? I can set my clothes out before I get up in the morning. I can get up a little bit earlier so that I can get my morning started. I can meal prep so I'm not in such a rush. You know, there's things that there's doable things that we can do to reduce stress.
I got a few more. I know we're late, but I want to get through these. Brandon said, good morning from Ocala.
Good
Joe
morning.
and Rachel, please give advice. I'm trying to do intermittent fasting. Could that be why my glucose is high, like 175? It's higher than my dawn effect should. Lots of things could be going on. What's your stress like? How much intermittent fasting are you doing? How much fat are you eating? If you're not eating enough fat, if you're eating very high protein with very low fat, that's a lot of times going to cause you to have a higher glucose.
Yeah.
Lori said,
Hey,
my
Lori.
weight loss has been extremely slow, but I have lost 22.5 inches since
Wow.
October going strict carnivore, and I'm loving it. I'm chalking this up to still being metabolically
Oh, yeah.
sick.
I mean,
Yeah.
we're
You've lost
recovering.
22.5 inches.
Inches.
You saw the picture earlier. 8 pounds on beef, butter, bacon, egg. Look at the difference in the size. Where's that picture? Can I pull that picture back up again? Look at that.
Yeah.
8 pounds?
That
amazing. Looks like a lot more than 8 pounds.
It does, because inches, like that's what you're looking for.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, well-fed human. That was only 8 pounds of weight loss. Insane changes in your body.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Let us celebrate.
Denise said, I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of living uncertainty and in pain.
Unhealthy.
This way of eating offers such great benefits.
It really, really does.
Beth said, just got off a 10-day cruise and celebrated my 2-year ketoversary on board March 1st.
Yay.
To all going on the low-carb cruise, which I wish I was going with you. It's totally doable, even while
Thank you
cruising.
for that. Absolutely. And I hope that as we are studying and researching like what is going on the low carb cruise, if you're going on the low carb cruise, I really hope that you're not just doing it for all you can eat buffet, but for all of the things that you're going to get to see and do, the conversations you're going to get to have, the rock climbing wall that maybe you're going to try to traverse. There's lots of things to do on a cruise. There's lots of things to see, and I'm so thankful that there are gonna be plenty of good fatty cuts of meat for us to enjoy, but there's other things for us to enjoy as well.
John said, I'm on John's keto. I eat whatever keeps me away from high-carb poisons.
Yes.
FYI,
It's bacon.
Pocket bacon keeps me away from carbs.
I love it.
Emmy said,
Hey,
we went
Emmy.
to IHOP for my husband's birthday yesterday. I was
happy
worried
birthday.
at first, but it turned out to have keto-friendly food on the menu. Skip pancakes, hash browns. So
Yes.
yeah, that is great.
I love diners.
They have lots of that kind of stuff. The only thing I am going to tell you, whenever you go to a restaurant like Denny's or IHOP, always tell them you want cracked eggs. So especially IHOP is very well known for this, but a lot of the diner type places do this. They add pancake batter to their scrambled eggs and omelets to make them fluffier and to save money. So always tell them, I need cracked eggs. Don't let them use their pancake batter, their eggs that have pancake batter in it. Last one, JY, does meat only negatively affect gut bacteria? No. You just have different gut bacteria because you have the gut bacteria that your body needs for the meat. So if you eat meat for a long time and stop eating vegetables, your gut bacteria changes. If you start eating vegetables again, you may bloat at the beginning until you rebuild up the gut bacteria that you need for those vegetables. So there's nothing wrong with eating only meat. There's lots of positive things to eating only meat. Some people need vegetables, some people don't. So we are going to get off. We thank everybody for joining us. We will be back with our live on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, hopefully. We will be doing it from a hotel in Orlando because we are finally using Rachel's birthday present of swimming with the dolphins.
I am so excited. I'm going to say hi to Flipper for everybody. Give him a good hug.
Have a good day, guys.
We love
Bye.
you.